on the agenda, and that's the Obamacare. If they strike it down as unconstitutional, which I hope they will, then that'll send a whole bunch of money back to the people. So we have 12 courts of appeals, we have 94 district courts to go with this thing. Now, what's been happening in the past has changed a little bit. So we have the executive branch here in blue, and that means Democrat. We have the House, Republicans, control now in red, meaning Republican. And the Senate, of course, is still controlled by the other side. And we have the Supreme Court with 12 courts of appeals and district courts. Here are the federal budgets from the years 2001 to 2012. The one on the left shows the last budget that Bill Clinton had during the Republican Congress. And you can see the growth of the debt and the spending during these years. The first Pelosi budget in 2008 started the real trend towards the spending. And just to give you an idea of how much in excess of revenues these spending things were, take a look at the yellow line. That's where the trillions of dollars of debts come from, because it's so far exceeded our revenue source. I couldn't operate a business like this. I don't think you could either. Probably wouldn't. But gee whiz, Solandra failed because of this kind of finances. We'd fail if this is, with these kind of finances if I was running Course-Tech like this, or the brewery was run like this. So this is the debt, and I would tell you that it's very easy to track my opponent, Ed Perlmutter, and trace $5 trillion of deficit spending that can be attributed to his term of office. He's followed the Obama plan, he's followed the bailouts, he's followed all kinds of things that have added up to $5 trillion over his 5.5 years in government. I think economists agree that the U.S. will face a major debt crisis within the next few years. How that comes about could be in terms of inflation, could be in terms of our credit. We've already seen a decline in the credit rating for the U.S. dollar, and could take place in all kinds of bad things that happen in the economy. You just can't maintain this kind of debt situation to go forward. And I hope it doesn't happen, but the most predictable economic crisis in history could be at hand. Spending solutions. The House Republicans have passed a cut, cap, and balance program. Very, very important. Mr. Perlmutter, my opponent, did not vote in favor of this. The Senate did not pass it because the president promised to veto it. Cut, cap, and balance is simply cut expenditures, cap expenditures, and balance the budget. Three very simple things that we all expect to do in our daily lives, personal lives, and business lives. Had they been able to do that, we could have cut $38 billion from 2012 outlays. We could have cut $5 trillion for the next 10 years. But the House Republicans did put in place a cut, cap, and balance. The cap part, anyway. Federal spending has been capped for all practical purposes now. Now Congress has to cut federal spending to get to the next phase. And this requires, to be veto-proof, requires 2/3 majority in the House and the Senate to override any potential veto. Federal spending cuts, where and how? To cut enough spending, thousands of cuts, and thousands of programs need to be done. What's the name of that book? The thing that comes out every year on the accountability. The Government Accountability Office produces a really thick book about things that are really wrong, and they deal with fragmentation, duplication, and fraud. And one of the interesting things is, for example, there's a report in there about how the Department of Agriculture issued over $1.2 billion worth of checks to dead people. There are 45 training agencies in the government. These could easily be consolidated back to 5. 18 different food assistance programs. Oh my gosh, how many do we need? If you are on food stamps, you might be a redneck. No. If you are on food stamps, you get a cell phone. 250 minutes of free cell phone use a month. Cell phones have become a right. I have one. You might ask, well, okay, what would you do?
I wonder who loves you for that.
Did you know?
Probably a redneck.
Did you know that it cost $6.8 billion more to make pennies than they're worth? This is one of the things I thought about. Okay, simply suspend minting pennies for a year, because we all hoard them anyway. We just turn them in. But it's there's $6.8 billion in a single year that we can save. Other things, guarantees, the baseline budgeting of the Budget Act of 1974 basically guarantees automatic spending increases for every program. This is absurd. I mean, how many businesses, how many budgets do you control where you get an automatic increase in inflationary increase with every program? Congressman Perlmutter voted against reforming baseline budgeting. Again, tax and spend, big government's going to take care of you, and we're all going to get contraceptives and Viagra. Reform federal workforce. Federal employee headcount has grown by 7% under Obama. Salary should be capped. There should be a hiring freeze, an absolute hiring freeze. Those are some of the things that will help with the spending. Medicare program must be reformed now, and modify the existing program so those who currently aren't on Medicare. That's an age thing that's part of the Ryan plan. Let people use their monthly payments to go towards their health insurance programs. Let people, individuals, choose things that fit their needs, augmented by their private savings and income. November 6, 2000, pivotal year. We say that just about every year, but I think we're right there. When 50% of Americans, adult Americans, are not paying taxes, they get to vote for all the fluff and all the benefits. This is sad. We must unite this November. We must put away our slivers of differences, because if we don't rally around the Republican flag here, we are at risk of losing even more and going downhill even faster. We need to focus on the economy, folks. The social issues are the little hand grenades that the leftists put out there to distract us from the real issues. This gal who was on TV wanting contraceptives for part of her health care plan, for example, the little grenade. The fact is we have The sad part is, we have 12 million people out of work.